Upgrading your gear. Now, I'll be honest, mate, this is a topic that I really ain't that keen on, but I've made some upgrades in the last couple of weeks, and you know what? I thought I should let you know, and more importantly, let you know the reasons why I decided to upgrade. Yeah, let's get stuck in, mate. What's going on, you lot? I hope you're all sweet. Yeah, mate, so I've upgraded a couple of my lenses, mate, and there's a couple of reasons why I did that. Now, I am an absolute non-advocate, does that make sense? I definitely am not very keen on upgrading my gear. Like, if it was up to me, mate, I would only upgrade my gear when it literally caught on fire and like exploded. But at certain times, needs must, and you have to upgrade your gear, mate. But if you are going to upgrade your gear, I think there must be a very, very good incentive and a very, very good reason as to why you're upgrading your gear. Everyone's kind of got this whole persona that, like, if you have really, really good gear, your films are going to be wicked, mate, and your shots are going to be sick, and your story's going to be mad off the hook, mate. Next thing you know, you're on TV, and that just ain't going to happen, mate. With the amount of money that people are spending on their gear, if they actually spent that kind of money and that time on locations, on their talent that they're shooting, on their storyboards and their story that they're trying to tell in the video, and actually working out how they're going to move their camera and evoke the audience's emotion a bit more, their films are going to double up in quality like that, mate. So I'm going to be talking about the reasons why I have decided to upgrade my lenses. The camera's staying with me for the time being. My A7S, mate, it is absolutely teetotaled almost, mate. I'll be honest with you. I've decided to upgrade my Canon 10-18 4.5 with the Comlight adapter and my Canon 50mm 1.8. So the main reason I actually wanted to upgrade these lenses is, first off, mate, this lens here ain't even like a full frame lens. I'm shooting on a full frame camera and I'm using a crop sensor lens. And the reason why is simply because my previous camera before the Sony A7S was the Canon 550D, mate. And the 10-18mm from Canon actually fit on here like an absolute dream. Now, this was an absolute dream setup for me, and when I decided that I needed a new bit of gear, I wanted to buy the Sony A7S Mark II, because I was like, you know what, mate, I want that log profile, I want all them high frame rates. Yeah, mate, 4K and that, sick. But now I kind of look at my work and I'm like, you know what, I don't even want flat profiles anymore. I'm actually not shooting flat anymore, and I'm going to make a video about that in the upcoming weeks. So it's almost like, right, I stepped up about 4 years ago and now I want to step back down again to what my like previous camera used to have in its utility, mate. Like, honestly, this is like the cycle that I was in when I was younger, thinking, right, I need all this high-tech gear, when now I'm kind of undergrading my current camera to make it look more like my old camera. Honestly, madness. 550D though, mate, what a camera. Absolute blinder. So the main reason I decided to upgrade my 10-18 was because I was actually on a trip in Sri Lanka. I noticed that I've absolutely scratched the fuck out of this lens. Now, this lens has literally been through it all, mate. I've taken it to the Sahara, I've taken it up mountain skiing, I've taken it on safaris, mate, through bloody waterfalls. So this lens has absolutely been through it. And whenever you shoot in direct sunlight and your lens isn't either clean, it's got scratches on it, or it's just a bad quality lens, the flares are horrendous, mate. The shot looks absolutely disgusting and crumbly. So I just thought to myself, look, mate, I'm not being funny. I need to get myself a new lens. Now, I actually looked into buying the exact same lens, and it had only cost me about 200 quid. And then I thought, do you know what? Shall I just go and upgrade to a sick lens? And then I thought, nah, sod that, mate. £2 for like the 16-35G Master. You're taking the piss, mate. That is so much dough, and it is literally probably going to improve my image quality by like £2.50? Nah, come on, James. Don't do it, mate. Don't do it. But then I did. I decided to buy the Sony G Master 16-35 2.8. Now, outside of the whole YouTube thing, I actually make a lot of commercials. I do a lot of filmmaking for different clients, lots of different brands. And for the last like 5 or 6 years, I've actually been using for my wide angle this Canon 10-18. Now, with the kind of rates that I'm charging, I should not really be using a Canon 10-18 4.5 that is absolutely scratched up to bits, mate. But end of the day, all of these clients that are hiring me don't ever ask me, right, James, what gear are you using? What are you going to be shooting on for this shoot? They just know my work and they like my work, so they hire me, like regardless of the gear. That's just another reason why it genuinely does not matter what gear you're using. Clients will hire you if your work is good, mate. They're not going to hire you on the kind of gear that you've got. So for me to go out and charge the progressive rates that I'm trying to charge as an actual commercial filmmaker, I do need to be stepping up my gear, mate. If I'm turning up with some much better glass and much more professional kit, I'm probably going to be able to charge a bit more like I do, and I'm also going to have a much cleaner image for them brands that want that kind of really clean, sharp image look. I'm not a massive fan of the clean, sharp look, but you know what? A lot of brands are that I work with, so I have to accommodate for that. And when I actually upgraded to the 16-35 Master 2.8, I also upgraded this lens too. Now, what did I buy? I went out and bought the Sony 85mm 1.8. Now, I've kind of learned over the years of shooting that I really like using a wide angle lens and a tight lens. Simply just two lenses. I do not need anything else other than two lenses unless I'm shooting something very, very specific. If it's something like long distance sports or like wildlife, which I don't really do a lot of wildlife anyway, then I'm probably gonna need like a telephoto like 70-200 or whatever. But generally, these two lenses, these two focal lengths work perfect for me. Now, obviously I've made this like switch over from Canon to Sony. And the reason I've done that is simply because my workflow is more than likely gonna be Sony from now on. I'll probably hire out different cameras if I'm on a certain client project that I want that look out of that camera for. But the thing is, when you actually invest in lenses, they don't necessarily lose their value. If you buy a camera, your camera in 2 years, 3 years is more than likely, mate, gonna be well outdated, and yeah, you're gonna have to upgrade. But with lenses, if you look after your lenses, which admittedly I'm not very good at, they will hold their value, mate. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. And I've actually said to myself, James, mate, do yourself a favour. Start looking after your gear when you're running about all over the place. Now, for me, the shot is more important than my gear. So if I'm out in a situation where the shot I want to get is only there for 2 seconds, I would rather just get my camera out, regardless if I've dropped something, get the shot, than be like, ooh, I can't hurt my little 16-35. The shot's there, mate. That's what I'm about. I like to shoot situations, mate. I don't care about this kind of stuff. If I'm going to buy a 2.8 lens, a 1.8 lens, what's the point in me shooting at f22, f11, f9 on these lenses if I've paid for the 2.8? So I decided to myself, right, James, we are going to buy ND filters for all of these lenses because that allows me to shoot at the maximum aperture that these lenses allow me to shoot at. Now, ND filters obviously just cut out light, so obviously they're basically just like a sunglass. But more than that, they obviously protect your main element of glass in your lens. Unless I'm on like a big commercial set where I've got like an AC to sort out my NDs for me, I don't really want to be using ND filters because they just fiddly, they get in the way, they get dirty. But I've just decided, come on, James, mate, let's step up the quality. Let's make it a bit more better. Another reason why I could actually advocate for buying these lenses over the Canon lenses is because for the last 5 years, mate, I've not had autofocus. Now, for me, I would never ever use autofocus for video unless I was in like a very extreme situation. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've not used autofocus once, mate. I am manual focus all the way. I decide where I'm focusing. The camera doesn't decide where I'm focusing. I am the boss of my own camera. It's not the boss of me, basically. That makes sense? But there is one instance where I do actually want autofocus. Now, I don't know if you lot know, but I'm a little bit of a diva on Instagram, mate. I hate to admit it, but I do love a good sunset shot, mate, especially when I'm out traveling and you got this mad landscape. You've either got a peng sunrise, a peng sunset. You know what, mate? Let's get a cheeky shot for the gram. And it is peng, mate. And for situations like that where you're actually shooting stills, autofocus does come in handy. So people, that is my little explanation as to why I upgrade. Oh, old Jerulses, completely forgot, mate. I also bought a third lens. Now this lens is the Sony 50mm 1.8. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, hold on, James, you just got rid of your Canon 50mm 1.8. Yeah, mate, I'll be honest with you, because the 85mm 1.8, not that happy with. Now, when I say I'm not happy with it, the size, the shots, the images that it produces are absolutely gorgeous, but for video, mate, I still think it's a little bit tight, even at full frame. I was actually on Amazon Prime the other day, obviously it was Prime Day and all that, and I saw the Sony 50mm 1.8 for 135 quid. And I just thought to myself, mate, look, you know what, just get it, just get it. It was one of them spontaneous moments, I purchased it, and you know what, mate, banger, mate. I'm telling you, I am such a 50mm guy, I will probably have a 50mm in my back pocket the day I die, mate. Selling the nurse and that, just look after me 50mm, mate, yeah. Nice one, geezer. Anyway, I wouldn't call a bird a geezer, but it might be a bloke, who knows. So, people, that was where I was going to wrap up. Obviously, I'm not upgrading my RX100 Mark IV simply because if I was stuck on a desert island, mate, this would be the camera that I would take with me, mate. This thing is honestly just the best camera I've probably ever used. Anyway, people, thank you so much for watching this. I really hope that it kind of gives you some ideas and hopefully stopped you from going and upgrading, because it's so easy as YouTubers to tell their audience, you know what, mate, go out and get this lens, get this camera, do this, do that. And before you know it, mate, you're 10 grand down and you're thinking, hold on, mate, like my films ain't even got better. What's going on here? James has just told me to go out and buy all this stuff. Nah, mate, I ain't about that. The YouTube community should be trying to help people to actually make better films, not to go out and spend all their money on their affiliate links and all that BS. Stick with what you've got, make sure that you use it to the maximum potential that you possibly can before you upgrade. Then upgrade, but try and make very, very clever investments like lenses. Yeah, man, have a sick day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, mate, not a problem, but I'll do better to try and make you enjoy the next one if I can. All the best. Stay sick. Catch you in the next one. Peace.